Hi, how are you, friend?
Hello.
Good to see you. We've got a bunch of ladies jumping on. I feel like I don't know that I've been to a real estate event yet that doesn't start a little late because I feel like aren't we all usually running a hair behind? Hey, Victoria, good to see you again this week. Thank you for your email today, too. It was so nice to learn more about you. So, thank you.
Morning. Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm really looking forward to the day.
Oh, me too. I was just telling, it's funny. So Maddie is on here. Maddie is our program manager with Empowering Women in Real Estate. And I said to Maddie, I'm chewing gum because I'm nervous. And when I'm nervous, I feel like I need peppermint. And I'm nervous because we've never done anything like this before. Like I've done, obviously, tons of trainings and webinars and all that kind of thing. But today, really, this is a conversation for us to all have about what a lot of us are feeling and experiencing. It has been so, what's the right word? It has felt so affirming to me because for a couple of years, I have just felt weird in this business, right? Like, I'm 52 now. I'm in kind of a different spot in my business and I do different things. And, suddenly I feel kind of invisible and it just feels kind of strange. Um, and so I've, been kind of sitting on that feeling until recently. And it seems like the conversation, like it keeps coming up. I don't know if anybody listened to the podcast episode yesterday that came out that was all about this topic. And it kept coming up to me in conversations with other women. And I was like, maybe I think I need to share this a little bit. And so I've been talking about this now for a couple of weeks, and it's been very affirming to hear from so many of you, from so many people who feel the same, who have been experiencing the same thing, feeling the same thing. And so I thought, we should support each other in that, right? And we should be talking about that. So here's what our kind of plan for today is we're going to have a conversation, just a collaborative conversation. So there's no judgment here. So we don't care what you look like. If you turn your camera on, then it makes it easier for all of us to talk with each other. But I did, um, I did write out a few questions based on some of the content that I have been preparing. Hi, Diane Northern. I haven't seen you in ages. It is so good to see you. We were messaging about our dogs in the swimming pool recently. So I do have a couple of questions that I figured we would use as just kind of like conversation starters that are based on some of the feedback I've gotten from some of the content that have come out. So let's do one little bit of I always like to do a little housekeeping first, right? So why don't you share in the chat so we can get our chat active and going? There's Charlene. Hi, Charlene. I'm just now seeing everybody, so I apologize. Um, so if you would just put in the chat, where are you logging in from? And how many years have you been in real estate? So where are you logging in from? I love seeing all of you typing. Where are you logging in from? And how long have you been in real estate? So let me see. Yes, there's Holly. Great. 11 years. Diane, 25 years. Oh, you're at Panera, Charlene. I haven't had lunch yet. Yes, enjoy that lunch. That's too funny. Oh, Abby, you're new in Athens. Congratulations. Welcome to the wonderful world of real estate. 19 years. Judy, hi Judy. Judy's on my team. 14 years, 12 years, 13 years, 6 years, 24 years. Cheryl. Michelle, 21, 20 years, 14 years, 20. Yeah, Carrie Fincham, where are you? I don't see you on my screen. I love to see you. I don't get to see you that often. I can't see you.
I'm here.
Hi, there you are. 23 years, 12 years for Amy, 8 years, 40. Nancy Dunning, 45 years. Holy smokes, you can teach us some things today. 22 years, 55 years, Victoria. That is absolutely amazing. 20 years, 10 years, 2 years, 23, 7.5, 17, 35. Jackie Fields, has it really been 35 years? Where are you? I can't see you. I have to I keep having to switch back and forth. That's amazing. Jackie and I have worked together literally since I started 23 years ago, which is kind of amazing. So I think it is very, and you don't want to see me. I always want to see you. I think it is very safe to say that we are a very experienced group. And we have a lot of wisdom here. So I'm really glad to see that. So let's just dive in and have a little conversation. And what you can do if you want to contribute is down at the bottom of your screen, there's a button that says react. And you can press that button. I'm going to test it right now. So you can press that button. And when you do, it will give you an option to do things like raise your hand. Do you guys see that? So bottom of your screen, it says react. So tap react, and then you see what it did? It gave me my little raise hand. So we can do that, or of course, you're always welcome to just, unmute yourself and share some things with us. So let's start with this. What is something, we've got a lot of super experienced ladies here. What is something that you love about your current season in life or business? So I'll go first. So, something that I love is that I have finally, and it's taken me many years to figure this out, or I shouldn't say not to figure it out, but to feel comfortable. I have finally feel like I have become comfortable with what I like to do in my business and how I like to produce. I don't personally serve clients anymore. I haven't done that for 6 years. I do produce a lot of business, right? I mean, I think last year we did our mid-year with my team on Tuesday. I've got closed or pending close to 15 million so far this year. I produce a ton of business, but I don't go on appointments anymore. I don't do any of those things. And for years, I felt really guilty about that. And I felt a little like something with, like I don't count anymore because I'm not doing the same things. But I finally feel really proud of that, of being able to do that and to generate that and to operate in this way. So that is my thing. That is something that right now I feel really, I really love that about where I am in my business. So who else? Who wants to share? Share with us something that you love. You can raise your hand, unmute, or put it in the chat. What is something that you love about your current season in your life or business? Meg, go ahead. Tell us.
Hi.
Hi, I love your wall color. That's so pretty.
Oh, thank you. I love that I don't need scripts
Oh,
anymore, that I can just confidently hop on a call with really anybody and listen, speak freely,
yes.
provide sound advice. Whether or
Hmm.
not I am the person for them, that's okay.
Hmm.
But I feel just so secure being able to answer questions, guide someone, and I mean, give free advice a
Yeah.
lot of the time, but I don't mind.
Yeah.
I just love that sense of confidence that's kind of come over me in the last few years.
Man, I love that. So remind us how many years you've been in business?
This is my 13th year.
Wow. And so when do you feel like you kind of hit that kind of comfortable, kind of confident stride? Has that been recently or the last few years?
Last few years, I think, honestly, I think work, like professional experience converged with the mid 40s. Like,
Okay.
I don't know, any woman who's there or older, I think you just know that feeling kind
Yes.
of,
Who
and
can,
it's
who can relate?
normal.
Raise your hand if you can relate to what Meg's saying. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
So that's, I don't know, part of it is literally just age. So maybe would have found it sooner had I been older when I started, who knows?
Yeah.
And then some of it's just the experience. But I would say in the last like 3 years, just feeling like I can hop on any call and have a good, confident conversation.
I love that. I love that. Well done. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's great. Nancy, you have been in business. I forget, what did you say? Did you say 45 years? Wait, hold on. She's gonna unmute. Oh, there we go.
Yes, 45 years.
Holy smokes. Did you start when you were two?
I started in my 20s. It's the only thing I've ever done.
Wow, Nancy, that's amazing.
So
Amazing.
I'm going to shut this thing off that's blocking my screen. Hang on, there we go.
Yeah.
So what I like right now is I know I don't have to be everything to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So I very much am very specialized. I work as close to home as I can, and I find that when I'm true to myself in that way, my business is the best it's ever been.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
have a younger team that I'm a part of. It's not my team, thank goodness, but they're younger and they're hilarious and they're fun. And so I feel like I can be gone as much as I want to,
Yeah.
but I only do the things I really love to do now.
Oh, that's so good. And
Yeah.
is it, did it take you a long time to kind of get to this place where you felt comfortable or in doing that and kind of, niching down, or is that something that you have felt for a long time?
Oh, it's been a process because I used to feel like I had to serve everybody that was referred to me,
Yep, 100%.
or that called me. And now I just think, okay, I don't want to drive 30 minutes to areas that somebody else knows better than I do,
Yeah.
or that my
Yeah.
heart's not in it. So it
Yeah.
took me a while not to feel guilty because I've been in this business so long, it was hard for me to say no.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, what you're saying is so powerful, Nancy. And you heard me use the word guilt too, right? I mean, I think there
Yeah,
is something about that. We all feel like we have to serve everybody, we have to help everybody. It can be only us, and we kind of feel guilty, but it's actually a really amazing gift when you have reached this level where you are in your business, where you have the confidence, right, which Meg was talking about, to really focus on what you love and what you do. And I think honestly, don't you feel that when you do that, you're specialized in your location, don't you feel like you get more business, and don't you feel like it's kind of
yeah,
easier?
for sure.
Yeah.
Because then you become known as the expert. Like I live in this beautiful neighborhood called Greenway Parks, and people always say, "Oh, you're the queen of Greenway Parks." Well, Greenway Parks doesn't even turn over that often. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely not the queen of Greenway Parks, but that's the perception
Yep.
people get because I'm around. I'm walking my dogs. I head the book club. I do a lot of things for the neighborhood, and it gives the impression that I work the neighborhood even maybe more than I do.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's so
Yeah.
good. So good. Sonia, hi. I haven't seen you in ages.
Hi,
Sonia was on the podcast. Was that been a year ago? I think we had you
I
on the
think it's
podcast.
like been a year ago. Yeah. Well,
It has been.
thanks for doing this today. I need this so bad. So what I love about this business and where I am at this stage of business might not be what you want to hear, but I love that I am, it's a second career for me. So I did something else for 28 years, didn't get my license till I was 47, started my own business at 57,
Wow.
62 today, and
Yeah.
I am unbelievably everyone's calling me. My phone rings all the time. So I guess what I love is that I built that name brand recognition in my community. And that's also what I don't love. So I can't do it. So I'm listening to you guys. I'm like, oh, I got to pass some of this stuff on. So what I love is that, remember the early days, how you struggled, and your phone wouldn't ring. You would like, oh, I wish my phone. Now I'm like, I wish my phone wouldn't ring. So a blessing and a curse all at the same time. So.
It is a blessing and a curse. What do you think it is that holds you back from maybe referring some of that? I mean, you own your own brokerage, right? So what is it that you feel like keeps you from feeling comfortable referring things out or partnering with other agents?
If it comes to me just from, some generic or website or Google or whatever, I don't mind giving it out. It's when someone refers someone to me,
Yeah.
that's the hardest thing. And so much of
Yeah.
it is that, right? Because
Yeah.
they're saying you need to work with Sonia. So,
Yeah.
and that's where I'm struggling a bit. How do I handle that?
Yeah. So that's a mindset shift partly, because I went through that too, right? Because I'm 6 years now of referring all of my business out, and people still refer to me all the time. But what has started to happen is people will say, you really need to work with Karen and her team, or you really need to work with Karen's team, or you need, and so it's just a little bit of a shift, and people, the majority of the time the expectation that we set and establish is what people are going to, they're not going to question you, and so you still say thank you for that referral. And usually what I do is once I pass it, I'll connect them with the team member, and here's Michelle, and she's gonna Michelle D, I see her is here on the call, she's part of my team. Here's Michelle, I know Michelle's going to take really great care of you. And so then when I would follow up and send a note to the person who referred, I would thank them again, let them know how much the referral meant to me, and say, my partner Michelle and I are going to take great care. And people don't get upset. I think we get upset because we think people are going to be upset. And so it's just something you have to build the confidence in, I think.
Yeah, no, good. It definitely is a mindset. So
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's so good. I'm glad you're here. Anybody else want to share on that topic before we kind of move on to another topic to chat about? Raise your hand or yeah. Okay. All right. So, have you and I know the answer. I don't even know why I have this question. Have you ever felt burned out in your real estate career? And if so, what did that burnout come from? And what did that look or feel like to you? So for me, I feel like I've been burned out multiple times. I've gone through a little burnout. I think that's probably normal, right? For a lot of us, in different phases or seasons. Um, but this most recent time that I felt burned out in my business, it was because I was not being authentically me. And I went through a period of time where I felt like I had to be like someone else or act like someone else or do things that maybe were not where I was. And anytime you're pretending, has anybody ever felt that? Like anytime that you're kind of pretending, like you can't keep that up, and so it kind of burns you out. And so what that looks like for me then is, um, I kind of hated everything. I hated what I was doing. I no longer found enjoyment. I mean, I have loved this career for 23 years and I suddenly hated it. And I suddenly like would fantasize, raise your hand if anybody can relate to this. I would fantasize like getting another job or I'm on Indeed seeing is there anything that I could do that somebody could hire me, like the silliest thing. I'm not going to do that. I know I'm not going to do that. But like we kind of fantasize about it because we think, okay, I gotta like, yeah, Amy is saying pretending is exciting. Yeah, Joanne, I know you did. Joanne, you did try to go take another job. And that's not the answer. So that's what it looked like and felt like to me. And the answer for me getting out of that is partly is what we're doing here, right? Is just really leaning in authentically to who I am, where I am, what my interest is, right? We heard Meg talk about that. Or sorry, Nancy was talking about that, what my interest is and what I want to focus on. So Cheryl, did you have your hand raised? Did you want to share with us on that topic? See if we can get you unmuted over here. Can we?
I was just agreeing with what you were saying.
Yeah.
Definitely some burnout at a couple of times. Um, I just sort of reworked everything
Yeah.
I had, just freshened everything up, and that was how I got past
That's how
it.
you got through it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, good for you. Has it been, how long has that been that you've kind of gotten past that period?
Not very long,
Really?
actually.
Yeah.
I had stepped away about probably 90% for 5 years. I
Yeah.
had parents that were sick and I just had other responsibilities. So
Yep.
then when I came back, it felt like everything had changed a lot.
Oh
And
man,
I
yeah.
really didn't expect that. I thought I would be able to just step right back in.
Yeah.
So it was just very frustrating, and I did consider walking away.
Yeah.
But that's what I did. I
Yeah.
just went in and refreshed everything I had.
Yeah.
But I am pickier now about what I do. I'm not working the hours that I
Good for
did
you.
5 years ago.
Good for you. Thank you for sharing that. I think maybe when you come back, it's not that everything has changed, it's that you have changed. Right?
And that's
And,
possible.
and so many of us have been in that place. I cared for my parents. I see Karen Diggs is on here. Karen takes care of her mom. I know many of others of you on here have been in that place too, where you're caring for a family member. Sometimes caring for a family member while also still caring for kids at home. And it's such a squeeze on us. You're torn, you're literally torn apart. Um, and so that's hard. So we're glad you're back. I'm glad you got your mojo back. So that's a good thing. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Michelle Belisari, Boca Raton,
Hi.
Florida. Hi. What do you want to share with us on that?
Oh, burnout. I think burnout is so cyclical, and I think it's
a few things. I think hormones really whack us out big time, and I'm 63.
Mhm.
So even now, like I'm noticing a few things at this stage.
Mhm.
That kind of like I at 50, yeah, so it was okay, but I've noticed a little bit more. And I think with burnout, I kind of equate burnout with depression,
Mm.
anxiety,
Mhm.
whether it's with our business or in our personal lives or a combination of things. And I
Yep.
do think that in this business, we really carry other people's stress. I think if they were to rank businesses, we're probably right up there with holding on to, and it's very hard to let that go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's certainly been a shift in attitudes with buyers and sellers. The people in general just aren't quite as nice as they used to be. And I think it just becomes exhausting
Yep.
trying to be everything to everybody.
Yep.
I think one of the things for me when I'm feeling burnt out is that's when I have to take like a couple of days off. That doesn't need to be a whole thing, doing something out of the ordinary, even cleaning my house, because I don't think when I'm cleaning, my brain just doesn't,
Yeah.
do
That's
that.
all.
I
Mhm.
think the other thing that leads to burnout for us as agents too is the quantity of expectation of the amounts of social media that we are supposed to be doing.
Yes.
It's, and I've been in the social media game since whenever Facebook came out.
Yep.
I've taken time off from my social media
Yeah.
platforms. I do it a few times a year because I just get to a point where I'm just like, I'm just sick of it.
Yeah.
I'm sick
I'm
of it.
so glad you brought that up, actually, because I was gonna mention that next because Amy said in the chat that she feels frustrated that it's turned into a social media production job and less about professionalism and competence.
Yeah.
Don't you feel that to be true?
I think there's two sides to the coin.
Mm.
And it's so interesting because I was watching something, I think it was on BAM, and Jason Cassidy said something about, and I'm going to reach out to Jason because I think it was a very interesting comment. And I made note of where it was in this interview where they were talking about it, about uh, older, mature agents.
Yeah.
They have more experience, but, and hopefully I'm not going to get this wrong, but the younger agents that are slam dunking it on social media
Yeah.
are the ones that are visible, and
Yep.
they may get the business because they're more out there.
That's
Right.
right.
And you and I have talked about this.
Yep.
And I want to actually talk to him about this because I've known Jason for a long time.
Yep.
And I thought, wow, that's a really profound statement, which also goes in my head. We can't stop learning,
Yeah.
but we have to figure out how it isn't going to exhaust us. Because let's face it, once you hit 50, 55,
Yeah.
you do feel a little more tired.
Yeah.
The aches and pains are there. Things happen. We're taking care of families and parents and whatever it is. And so I just think the stamina is not there. So when your stamina is low,
Yeah.
then you're just frustrated. It's like, geez, like I'm sitting here today, I'm like, oh, I got to do like some green screen
Yeah.
videos today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, my hair's done. I better get it done.
Well, that's what we do. But you know what? It's so true because here's what, and let's lean into this kind of social media conversation because a lot of people are kind of talking about this in the chat too. For me to do social media stuff, it requires a certain amount of creativity. And if I am tired, I am not creative, right? When I have 5,000 things, I'm looking at my to-do list. When I've got 5,000 things on my list, I literally can't feel creative. And so then it makes it feel so much harder. Who can relate to what we're talking about here with the social media and the expectations? Yes. Judy, did you want to share your perspective or thoughts on that, or were you just saying yes, you agree?
I was just saying I'm right there with you.
Okay.
I mean, honestly,
On the spot.
if it weren't for our job, I could just turn off social media and never even care about it. I mean, there are, right, you connect with people from years ago that you never would have ever talked to again. So there are definitely some blessings about social media, but
Yeah.
I go through the same thing, Michelle. It's like I'll do a few videos because I think I have to, and then you don't hear from me for like a week.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why I don't do the week of the,
I'm
the
actually pretty
house of the
scheduled.
week. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
good if
pretty
you're good with the
scheduled,
schedule,
but
not me.
I just put in the chat too, Karen, faceless videos,
Yeah.
mayonnaise. That's the hack. If
Yeah.
you really want to hack it, that's the hack. And the other hack right now is this green screen thing, which actually is actually not a bad idea. Now I'm doing mine manually.
Yeah.
The AI ones, they're getting a lot of people following them. They're
Yeah.
starting to convert, which is great, except when you all start looking alike, it looks weird.
Well, that's just
That's
it.
my 2 cents.
Well, and don't you notice that? I think a lot of us notice that because, a lot of us are using, a lot of us use Chat GPT. We had a whole conversation about this with my team on Tuesday. I share prompts every week. But then you start to notice, you can tell the posts that, don't feel human. Vicki and I, my business partner and I were talking about that this morning. You can tell the ones that don't feel human, the ones that ChatGPT wrote, right? And so I feel like there's a little bit of a difference. Something, Sonia, you just said in the chat, it's not that you're not creative, you simply don't have the time. And don't, raise your hand if you feel that, right? You feel like you don't have the time to show up on social media. You don't have the time to create the reels, to do the things because you're already working so much. Like there's just no time to do it. I think for me, Nancy makes a great point too. Some clients value privacy and they don't want their stuff on social media, which I totally get. Not everybody wants that. Amy, do you want to share? I'm glad you just raised your hand because you kind of started us off on this tangent. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
All right. Hi there, everybody.
Hi.
20 years in the business, and prior to that, a 25-year career in sales and marketing. So I'm a very competitive person and love what I do. It's great stuff. But this piece of it to me feels like I'm supposed to be an actress, and I'm not
Yes.
an actress. I'm a businesswoman, and
Right.
I'm good at what I do. But this piece of it, I would be happy to delegate and never do it again. I
Yep.
don't do it to gain clients because at this point in my career, it's 100% referral and repeat business. So I'm not doing it
Yep.
for that. But
Yep.
my clients expect me to do it. So
Mhm.
I'm doing it. If you have
Yeah.
a $1 million sale, in my market, that's big stuff. And that's kind of my
Yeah.
niche is the higher end. I
Yeah.
have to do it.
Yeah.
But I guess what I do, and maybe I just shouldn't do this, there are in every market, there are, it's the top 50 that do most of the work.
Yep.
And I follow everybody's page. We're all kind of following each other. And the young agents, I don't even know how they live. I mean, I feel like they're 100% transparent and too personal and
Yeah.
too hypey. And I find
Yeah.
it very, I find it annoying, but I
Yeah.
also find that it has nothing to do with real estate. you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
So I'm just really struggling with it. And just as a caveat, I was with the same brokerage for 20 years and I switched and I'm 65 years old. So I
Oh,
switched this year
oh
to a
wow.
new brokerage.
Good for
And,
you.
and I did it because my broker, it was a small boutique firm.
Yeah.
My broker was very much old school, didn't want to embrace new things. So I'm like, if I'm going to be in it, I'm going to be in it. I'm not
Yes.
going to dabble in real estate.
Yeah.
I either want to be in it or out.
Yep.
So I made the switch, but nonetheless, this piece of it
Yeah.
feels like it's a huge shift and
Yeah.
it's not something I really want to do. So I'm
Okay.
questioning whether I should stay in it.
Oh, see, so this, Amy, I'm so
Oh,
glad that there are so many nuggets in what you just said. I literally 30 minutes before I got on this call, I was having a conversation with somebody talking about joining our team, and she said exactly what you just said to me. She is in her mid 60s. She has had wonderful success in her business, and she said, I'm just wondering if I even want to stay in it. And I hate hearing that. And here's some thoughts, and I want to touch on so many things that you just said. I think sometimes with the social media, like you said, you don't need it, right? Most of your business you're doing is repeat clients, it's referrals. For a lot of us, we're not doing the social media because we necessarily have to get more business from it because we already have systems that are bringing in business for us. And so, but yet we feel this pressure that we have to show up on social media. And it's not for everyone. Some people enjoy it. Michelle, you do an amazing job at it. I know there's several of you on here as well that I see that do a great job at it. And I think it's being willing. Holly, great. You do a really good job with your social media. It is finding a way to do it in such a way that feels authentic to you. And it doesn't have to, it doesn't have to, we don't have to do what the young people do, right? Like Jackie Fields is on here and we were having lunch a couple of weeks ago and this kind of came up at the lunch and I said to her, like, we are smart businesswomen. We are successful. We have done this for a long time. And instead of us feeling really confident and secure in our success, especially I think in this area of social media, we are like turning around and we are looking back down the ladder at the people who were coming up and we are trying to emulate them. And I think that when we do that, like you mentioned, Amy, like, you see, I think about my kids, my 21-year-old, like they share all the things. And I'm not necessarily going to share all the things, definitely not on a public in a public format. But we don't have to be them and we shouldn't try to be them because who we are is enough and it has obviously worked really well. Not to say we don't want to learn. And I love that you just did a brokerage change, right? Because I do think it kind of clicks a new thing in your brain, right? When you have to shake it up every now and then. And so I'm glad that you did that. I'm happy we're having this conversation about social media. Salima, did you want to share something about this as well?
I do. So I live in Wilmington and we live at the coast.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get a lot of people that do want to move to Wilmington and live, by the beach.
Yep.
And it goes back to, I struggle with social media.
Yeah.
I've been in real estate for 20 years. I got off of it for a couple of years. And when I had a coach, she challenged me to get back on because it is about staying top of mind. This was years
Yeah.
and years ago. And
Yeah.
so sometimes when I'm going through a burnout or I'm going through exhaustion, I can get off social media because it can be a lot to be on social media and see
Yep.
what a lot of people are posting.
Yep.
And so I love what you said about not doing what everyone else is doing. I mean, I certainly follow a lot of top agents and get a lot of inspo from there,
Yeah.
but also being your authentic self on there without oversharing. And,
Yes.
I do believe that people want to work with people that they have things in common with.
Yes.
So, a lot of the things that I love to do is I'm very much into nature,
Yep.
outdoors, kayaking, hiking. One of the things that I've gotten into the habit too is when I go on vacation, my husband and I, we love to travel.
Yeah.
And so I no longer post while I'm on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I post, but I love taking pictures.
Yeah.
And so I come back and I use some of those pictures and I trickle them throughout the months
Smart.
as just kind of inspiration, or I'll share them. But then also I'll share that parts of, like, if there's an event happening in the area, or if there's like a garden, like we have Airly Gardens here and it's in bloom, I'll take it, on my lunch break, or I'll just take a day to go out and walk around it and highlight different areas of town. We have a boardwalk at Carolina Beach that's known for
Mhm.
Brits Donuts. And, so I went with my husband the other day and enjoyed it and lived our lives
Yes.
organically. And then also took pictures and shared it. And so,
Yes.
and that also is just being organic and also drawing attention to, it is a lifestyle
Yep.
here, and also staying top of mind that as a realtor, this is a lifestyle that we have here, and also keeping that engagement with people so that it's not so draining to figure out
Yes.
what it is that I need to come up with. Little
Yes.
pro hack, there was a really nice picture. You can load a picture up into Chat GPT, and a prompt is you can give it based on what you know about me and my core values,
Mm.
caption this picture.
Oh.
And I've got a picture that I just posted on my Facebook yesterday. And it's a picture of me sitting in a tree. We were in Hawaii in April, and it's overlooking the mountain and overlooking the water. And it was just one picture and ChatGPT gave me like 5 different prompts, 1 sentence. That was my content yesterday, and it was empowering. It was just really nice, and I got feedback. People loved it, but it gets the algorithms, me popping up on
Yes.
algorithms, and I had it done within.
That's amazing.
I didn't have to overthink it, and
That's
that's the
amazing.
draining part is
Yeah.
figuring out what it is that I'm gonna put. What am I gonna
Yeah.
say? What am I gonna say?
Yes.
I
Yes.
over stress about it.
Yep.
And so ChatGPT does come through and help out with that. And
Love that.
and it is organic me because it's based on what you know about
But
me and my core
yes.
values, caption this picture.
That's so good. Thank you for that. I put the chat in the prompt for anybody because I saw people were trying to write it down. I just want to highlight a couple things you said, and then I want to hear from. We've got 2 other ladies that raised their hand. But you're so right. I think there's a couple different approaches we can really take with social media, and you can go all in on the heavy duty real estate content. But I feel like sometimes that's hard, and that's the stuff that can feel overproduced. But instead, when your content is kind of about just you and you're living your life, Sonia just said in the chat, like being authentic. Like on my Instagram stories, like almost every morning I will post, something about my view in the morning, my cup of coffee, my journals. I almost always post a picture from my morning mile when I'm out walking my dog. Like it's little things, because then people, exactly what you said, Zulima, they want to work with people or see people that they know, like, and trust. And so if they love their dog and they're out walking their dog, so then there's like a connection that builds, because people are only selling houses once every, 3, 5, 10 years, sometimes even less than that. And so how do you stay in front of them? You're not going to stay in front of them if all you do is hammer them with overproduced real estate house content, because that's not interesting unless you're actively in the process of buying and selling a home, right? But when you can share, Amy Connor, where she's always sharing she bakes sourdough and she's sharing her sourdough, or she's sharing her chickens, or, so that's interesting. I want to see that content, right? Which makes me think of her. Is it
And then it
oh,
kind of
oh,
turns into reverse prospecting, because then you have
yes,
people reaching out to you. Hey, remember when you
yes,
went to such and such place, or where do you recommend for, or,
exactly.
gardening tips. We have a garden,
Yep.
or, I'm thinking about getting a chicken coop, anything
Yep.
like that. It turns into reverse prospecting
Totally.
because you're sharing your organic life with people in a very
Exactly.
easy way.
Exactly. I could not agree with you more. Is it Elena or Elaine? I'm sorry. I apologize
It's
for
a
not saying.
lane, like a
Elaine.
road, a street, a lane.
Elaine. I love it. Okay. Well, so nice to have you on here. So what would you like to
Thank
share?
you. So I have a question for everyone about social media, and it relates to safety.
Mm.
So in our office, I'm actually in Newport Beach, California.
Okay.
We had an instance where we had a stalker going through and, watching people's social media and doing all these different things. And then issues arose. I'll just say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I walk away from it because I'm concerned about safety. I
Yeah.
also get so many spam and marketing calls that come
Mhm.
through.
Mhm.
And so sometimes I wonder, is this really worth it? Or do I
Yeah.
just walk away from the safety and the overwhelming of doing it, and then the overwhelm of calls and everything?
Yeah.
And do I just stay
Yeah.
with the referral
Yeah.
and move on?
Yeah, I think, and I'd love to maybe have some others maybe chime in, maybe share in the chat what you think about what Elaine just said. But I think a lot of us can relate to what you're saying. And I think part of what it comes back to for me anyway is, what do I enjoy? And do I enjoy sharing? And what do I want to share? There is definitely a safety concern. In fact, we just did an episode on the podcast last week about realtor safety, and I think Maddie's going to put it in the chat for us. And she mentioned this specifically, where there were a couple of agents in her office, same as what you mentioned, where they were being stalked by someone and they were coming to their open houses. And could that stuff happen anyway if you're not on social media? Sure, right? They can drive around and see the signs and whatever. But there is a different level. And I mean that, yeah, Amy says our jobs are inherently public and we deal with weirdos all the time. I find it's funny, I had the conversation with my husband recently about the ringer on my phone, because I keep the ringer on my phone off almost all the time. And it's because it causes me so much anxiety. And I realized that when my ringer is on, and it's weird, right? Because we're in a business where we need to answer the phone. I feel anxious because I never know like who's it going to be and when it's going to ring, and I'm in the middle of this. And so when I'm working, my phone is up where I can see it. So if I get a call, then I'm going to see it. But otherwise, it's too much for me. Um, Nancy, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this.
Well, I took a different tact on social media because I found that when I did the regular stuff, nobody cared. And
Yeah.
so what I did with all the selling sunset and these lawsuits over commissions, I thought,
Yeah.
I'm going to show people what we really do. And so my
Mm.
post was, some people think selling real estate today is all about cocktails and short dresses and fancy cars. And I said, this is what I'm really doing. And I showed him in my old clothes, loading mattresses onto a junk trailer because
Yep.
I was cleaning out a house to go onto the market. And I said, this is what a day in real estate is really
Mhm.
like, prepping
Yes.
a house. And
Yes.
then my house burned down. It took me a year, but I put that on there, and then I did a whole series on documenting your contents. Well, I
Wow.
find that I got much more reaction from real life stuff that's helpful
Yep.
opposed to trying to say, look at my beautiful car, look at my beautiful listing, because there's 200 of those.
Totally. Yes, you're so right. And I love what
Right.
you're saying about education, right? You're approaching this also from an education point of view, because we had this conversation, I think it was Christina. I don't think she's on here today, but Christina on my team brought this up at our mid-year refresh on Tuesday. And she said there is so much of that misinformation because people, they see selling sunset, or we all know the realtors that they post like practically like purposefully controversial content to get people to like, it's like the clickbait.
Mhm.
And then it's not real. And so people don't understand. And so I love that you're kind of taking that perspective of the of the educational point of view. So that's really good. So thank you. Thank you for that. Um, let's answer. I think I want to kind of keep us to an hour today. Are we liking this? This is good. Will we do this again? We want this again. Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we do this once a month. I think we need this. So a question I wanted to ask you, and this goes along with something that someone mentioned earlier, and I apologize, I don't remember who said it, and it was about visibility. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being really invisible, 1 being not at all, um, in the chat, how invisible do you feel right now in your business? Do you feel invisible, not recognized by your colleagues, by your broker, by your association? Anybody? 5. So kind of right there in the middle, Meg. Yep. 3, 8, 4, 5. Mm-hmm. So some people feeling some invisibility. Judy, 7. Yeah. Oh, Chrissy, 2, but then you get a chance to be spotlighted and you kind of freeze up. Yeah. And why is that? I don't know if you feel comfortable unmuting. Yeah. Why do you freeze up?
Sure. I'll make this a therapy session. I'm a
Let's go
super
for it.
positive person. And I do consciously think I deserve opportunities, but I just observed today, this is the second time it's happened, where there's an opportunity to be on a cover of a magazine or something.
Mm,
And I think this inadequacy will come up, and it actually will overflow into the rest of my life for a day or two, where
wow.
there's like a negative over the rest of the stuff because this fear that I need to probably speak and journal about,
Mm-hmm.
of maybe people really seeing me. I
Yeah.
have a story that I think would really empower people, but then I'm scared.
Yeah, yeah. It's that, yeah, yeah, Amy just put it in the chat. I was going to say, it's imposter syndrome, right? I mean, I think a lot of us, anybody else felt that, we want to be, maybe spotlighted but then we kind of feel like maybe we shouldn't, or maybe, then people are going to judge us, or maybe we're not worth it, right? We're not worthy of that. So I think I know for me, when that comes up for me, it's usually because I feel like I'm not worthy of it. And there's the comparison piece. I love, Nancy says, I've dropped comparison, so I'm happy not to be too visible. The comparison will kill you. My partner and I talk about this all the time. Like, we were just talking over the weekend, and she's like, I was having just a perfectly great and wonderful day, and then I logged on and I started scrolling, and then like three scrolls in, and I feel like crap because I'm comparing myself, right, to what other people are doing. And you have to really curate your feed. I find you can mute people. You can still follow them to support them, but you can mute them, you can hide them. The minute I feel I feel like we all know, you see a post and you kind of feel a little certain way, kind of there's a little tingle that happens. And so I just immediately hide because I don't want it. I can't handle it. Diana, we'd love to hear from you. Share with us.
So I found you on social media. I'm actually a retired teacher of 17 years, and I just got my Pennsylvania license.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
So I knew that I wanted to be a part of this because I feel like I wanted to hear all your perspectives. But at 54, starting in this business, everything you're saying is making sense.
Yep.
And I figured if I start the business the way I want it to go, by listening to you ladies, I feel like that's going to be the way to go.
Yes.
I hear all of you on social media about the social media posts because, I mean, we grew up with our phones attached to the wall. So
that's right. Yeah.
We are the rock stars, actually, that we started there and now we're here.
Yes.
But what is like the biggest, I guess, life hack you can give me? My kids are grown. It's just my husband and I starting this new business. What's the best advice you could give me just starting out at 54?
Yeah. Well, kudos to you. I think there are, and I think Abby is one name I remember from the chat, also was saying that she's kind of new in the business too, because we've got kind of two things going on, right? There's those of us here who we've been around for a long time and we're in that midlife stage, but then we've got other ladies like you that are in that midlife stage and you're really just kind of starting out. And so I think being here is really good and important. I love your perspective of, I want to do this right, because a lot of us, when I think about myself and in my career, when I started, sometimes it's bad habits. We kind of learn that because we see what other people are doing and then we think we have to be that. And you have an advantage, I think, in that you are a more mature woman. And so because of that, there is a certain amount of confidence. I know, Meg, I've got you next with your hand raised because, Meg, you're the one who brought it up too, was about that confidence, right? And so I think for you is not, when you're learning and you're building and you're trying to figure out how to get momentum in your business, you do tend to look around to others for examples. Maybe you want to look around to not just the loudest voices or the ones that are the most visible on social media as the example, but maybe look to like some of the women here who are where you want to be in 5 years, right?
Yes.
Because then it's exactly what you said. You can start down that path instead of a different path and then end up over here. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew I wanted to be part of this group.
I'm glad you're here. Thank you for sharing that. Meg, we'd love to hear from you. What would you like to share?
So I don't know if it's invisibility or visibility, I'm not sure, but there's something that has just started to repel me a little bit in terms of like the celebrity component of being a realtor. And I think a lot of women have said it here today that we are professional businesswomen. Like, I'm spending most of my day to day trying to navigate a buyer signing from an embassy in Ghana for, like it's, that is the job. Like that is our job, is to help clients get to closing.
Yes.
And if I don't even really compare myself to other realtors at this point, but I think about my other girlfriends in different professions, teachers, doctors, like whatever they are, and I understand real estate comes with a marketing component and visibility is important, but my issue with like social media and a lot of that right now is, I mean, I don't care about being spotlighted, like all of that's fine. I almost want to be invisible in a way, like I want to go to a dinner party and not be the only person who has to discuss my profession.
Yes.
Like I just want to have the same easy, fun, small talk as anyone else without like even discussing the market or interest rates or how it's going, That's like a kind of where I am with like soul searching the profession
Yeah.
and how to stay visible,
Yeah.
but not have an expectation of like celebrity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. And you know what I think part of that is too, and somebody said it, or I think a couple ladies have actually said it. I think, especially for those of us who have been doing this a long time and are successful, we are driven and we are competitive. And when you are driven and you are competitive, it's hard to say, I just want to be a little visible and not be, the celebrity, because the celebrity is what gets all the attention. I was emailing with somebody yesterday about an event that's coming locally, and I was like, yeah, so who are your tell me about your speakers and your panelists, and they were like, well, it's this and such social media and this and such social media and this and such social media, and all the people she's naming are the ones that are, it's all the posts are with the, the hot girl walk in the car and and I'm like, no, that's not, that's not what I want to be or who I want to be. So, there's a confidence that we have to show up as who we are. And I think the more we can have conversations like this and promote each other, right? Maybe that could be a challenge for us too, is promoting each other, right? When you see another woman like us that is doing something really amazing on social media, share, right? Share her story, share her post, because the more that I think the industry or just consumers in general can see that we are visible too, and that we are doing a lot of good things. Yeah, we rise by lifting each other. I think that just kind of helps that all completely. I think it was Nancy who had talked about, people who are there's a perception of the industry based on this kind of celebrity status, but yet the real thing is what you were saying, trying to figure out how to get settlement papers signed from Ghana, right? And so that's the stuff we deal with, and it feels incongruent, and I think that's why we struggle so much, because social media feels silly, right? Let's just be honest. Social media, dancing around, pointing at things, the overproduced, that can feel really silly. And the other work that we're doing, right, cleaning out the house, trying to get the document signed, that is serious work. And so how do we melding those, I think is just so hard. Michelle, did you want to contribute to that?
Yes, sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Allie, my youngest, came by.
Okay.
So interesting. So I have two tracks with this. Depends on one, who your avatar is
Yes.
in
Mhm.
social media and what platforms that you're on. So my real estate avatars typically are death and downsizing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a personal brand that I've created called #Soboka. And that doesn't translate well to the fun, cool vibe of
Yes.
#Soboka, which I'm not a celebrity, but it gives me that elevation of, oh, you're Soboka, I follow you, like things
Yeah.
that are going on around town. But I
Mhm.
enjoy that.
Yep.
That's my thing. And I've been doing it for a
Yeah.
while. But I've had to figure out how to transition my passion and my pillars and my niches to translate differently. And that's on Facebook and YouTube.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep.
All day long, every day. That's where that needs to be. So,
Yes.
now the dancing thing, I'm not seeing that like I used to. That was
Yeah.
like really big with TikTok. But what I do see, and this is my takeaway, we don't want to be those crabby ladies who are going, wow, selling
Yeah.
sunset and wow, hey, if it wasn't for my girls, I would never have gotten on Snapchat, which was a game changer for me,
Mhm.
because some of the people that I ended up being on Snapchat with, and we're talking 2016, are
Yeah.
people you know, and
Yeah.
they're thought leaders in our industry.
Yeah.
So on one hand, I get that, because I freaking
Yeah.
don't want to dance unless it's in my kitchen and I have a glass of wine. However, I look to the younger agents
Yeah.
to pick apart some trends
Yes.
I can grab
Yeah.
that might actually translate into brand awareness.
Yes.
So
So good.
That's
Yeah.
the rub. So we have to be careful that we
Yeah.
aren't doing to them
Yes, you're
what
right.
we are having done to us. Just like, you're
Right.
freaking too old to be, what are you doing on TikTok?
Yeah,
What
you're
are you-
right. You're
So we
right.
have to find that ground of, we have the experience. Yeah. There's, who's the agent? Who's the agent who's doing the hide and seek?
Oh, Lisa Dubois. She's
Oh
an
my
independent.
God.
Yes,
If
she's
you are,
amazing.
yes, if you're not watching Lisa Dubois,
Yes, it's so
that's how you do
clever.
it.
So
Right
clever.
there.
Yes, and she's a mature woman with
Yes.
a lot of real estate experience.
And,
Yes,
and it's so fun. And
yes.
the way she's done it is so cool. I'm like, oh, that's brilliant.
I love, I want to touch on a couple things that you said, Michelle, which I think is really good. You know, one is finding those thought leaders or those examples where we can look at the trends and then we can translate that into what makes sense for us. I am a big fan. I love Shannon McKinstry on Instagram. If you guys follow her or not, she spoke at our conference last year for empowering women in real estate. She just has a very approachable, she teaches social media. Her way is just very approachable, and she gives a lot of like, it's almost like Mad Lib style, like, insert, fill in the blank here, so that you can kind of take the trend, if that's something that you want to do, and you can use it in a way that translates for your business. I also did this myself yesterday for the first time, where I took something that I had written for a post and I put it into Chat GPT and I said, this is what I wrote, but I want I want to reframe it to match this, trend or whatever. Help me. And it did. So it took what I wrote and it did that. So that's a great tool. The last thing I want to say about that is you mentioned multiple different channels, which is more things for us to manage. And I think Carrie Fincham, you mentioned this also, I saw earlier in the chat, is it's okay to use different channels in different ways based on what that is, right? So for me, Instagram always feels a little bit more fun. I'm a little bit more free to share maybe something a little bit more clever. I don't think I would ever post myself, walking, doing something on Facebook. But I feel very comfortable doing that on Instagram. In Facebook, on our group, right, I feel much more comfortable being very vulnerable and writing and sharing stories in the Empowering Women in Real Estate Facebook group, because I know it's a closed group of like-minded people. And so I feel very comfortable with that. And so you can pick and choose, right? If you want to play with something maybe a little bit more fun, a little bit more energetic, a little bit more youthful, then maybe like you did, Michelle, you try out the Snapchat or something like that. So ladies, we covered a ton of ground today in 58 minutes. And we only, I think, got to 4 of the discussion questions that I had. So we have a lot more to share. So I hope this was worth your time and that this was a worthy conversation. And I would like for us to do more of it. So my thought here is I think we're going to go ahead and maybe do this once a month. Instead of this other, I usually do the virtual meetup. So our Empowering Women in Real Estate community, we've got groups that meet all over the country and do monthly meetups. And I had been doing a virtual meetup, but I think instead of me doing that, I think we're going to do this. So you guys registered today, so that means we have your email. So we will make sure that we email you and notify you as soon as I have the date for next month. And that's it. So thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for sharing so freely. And we'll see you again soon. Okay. Bye.